Well, academia is imperative. A well-rounded education doesn't start and end in the classroom. For many students, developing their skills and character in a studio, on stage, or on the field will help set them up for success later in life. Our next guest took what she learned on the tennis court at the College of Charleston and is now the director of dermatology for the Maine Medical Center. And we're happy to welcome Vinny Seiverling. It's good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I love that you can say that you took certain aspects of playing tennis and have used those later in life. First of all, tell us a little bit about your tennis career.
Well, I started playing tennis when I was very young, maybe 4 or 5 years old, and I played a lot with my dad and my sisters and my grandfather. And my passion for the game really just evolved pretty organically. My parents helped foster that, but all along the way, they made it clear that I needed to be studying. Otherwise, they weren't going to let me continue to play all of the tennis matches, which ended up taking me all across the country eventually to play in tournaments.
Right, and eventually to the College of Charleston. So what made you decide to end your tennis career and move on to medicine, which was your dream? You've always wanted to be a doctor.
Yeah, so I'm actually only 5'2", which is quite small when you look at the height of professional athletes and especially professional tennis players now. So it became pretty clear that I was maxing out my potential at the Division I level and maybe was tickling on the top about 500 maybe in the world. But that's not a very viable long-term career. And so I decided that after college, I would play a few semi-professional tournaments. But when I was accepted into medical school, I knew that that was the best path.
Right. And tell us about some of the accolades that you earned before graduating or upon graduating from college.
Yes, I was the number one
2 years early.
Yeah, I did. I won the Pennsylvania State singles title when I was 14 and then again when I was 15. And I was the number one player in middle states in the girls 18 and under when I was 16. So I had achieved quite a bit at my local level and nationally, but then decided that I wanted to play top Division I tennis, which is why I first went to the University of Tennessee and then later transferred to the College of Charleston, where I played number one singles and doubles and was all conference. So after very intense tennis training at the University of Tennessee, I was ready for a better balance to have my student athlete career blossom, not just play tennis predominantly.
Right. And so you graduated, you were inducted into Phi Kappa Phi Honor Society, and then you graduated summa cum laude.
Yes. My mom was very clear that I needed to maintain a 4.0, and I think I finished with a 3.98 or 3.97. And so I think it was enough to please her and obviously to get into medical school. But top priority was always to get good grades. And that was very important to Coach Anestopolo as well. And that was why we really got along well, that I was able to succeed on the court and in the classroom so that I could go on to what I was really passionate about, which was a career in medicine.
And what advice would you give parents who are watching this and who are curious about putting their children through an extracurricular activity? What do you think it was about tennis that helped you in your medical career?
Well, tennis at its core is an individual sport. You are out there by yourself. You have to learn to be resilient. You have to learn to lose before you can win. And I think often about the correlations between practicing a sport and practicing medicine. You know, we go to tennis practice, but every day I practice medicine now. And really, I'm learning how to interact with other people, how to care for patients. And these were all skills that I learned on the tennis court. How to conduct yourself professionally. Collegiality is important, obviously, in an individual sport, but also on a bigger team. And then how to lead. I was one of the team captains, and now I'm the medical director of our clinic and the division director for the hospital. And so I think you really are just constantly drawing from experience on the court or any sport that will help you succeed in life.
Absolutely. And for kids who might have a little bit of pushback, but parents know best. They want to see their children succeed. So what advice would you give them to encourage their children who might be a little bit afraid to step out onto the court or the field or whatever it may be?
So I think it's really important, first of all, to make it fun, especially for young children that are going to start playing sports. It really shouldn't be overly competitive or overly taxing. Like, keep it fun. And then as kids get older, I think it's important to let them know that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to lose. We don't win all the time. And that vulnerability and that willingness to put yourself out there will really lead to growth, not only in sports, but in every other aspect of their lives.
Definitely. And you said that sports that builds confidence, and confidence, having confident children, is worth its weight in gold. Vinny, I want to thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.